I understand that everybody's watching this is at different financial levels and have different financial situations. However, one thing that is certain is that most of us have our financial needs met more than we think we do. In our society, the word need continues to move upward and continues to expand and continues to grow and continues to evolve into us needing more things than we actually do. Because when you think about it, a lot of things that we call needs today, not that long ago were considered luxuries just a few years ago. I was in an airplane recently and I was on the internet and I was texting people back and forth while I was, 20,000 feet up in the air, and I'm thinking about how incredible this is and how a lot of times people with cell phones want their service to be faster, or they want their internet speed to be faster, and we need 5G and all these kind of things. And you think about, if you're old enough to remember, there was something that called dial-up, and dial-up might take you 15 minutes literally just to get online. And today we couldn't even fathom that, but we need all of these different things. Why am I even talking about this? I'm talking about this because recently I was reading a book, and I'm going to tell you what that book is in the end, but that book was absolutely incredible, and it really changed my thought process on things that I was very solid on what I thought about certain things, and it caused me to even think about how I approach my family and different things as well. And it really challenged me on three things that's important to purchase, and invest in order to buy happiness according to science. Now, I'm going to tell you what the book is because maybe you want to really research and dig into some of these things that science actually talked about. And I want to give you that opportunity because for me, after I read the book, I went and read a lot of articles that was in the book as well. And it even solidified what I thought from the book even further. And I will tell you, out of these three things, two of them, you're probably going to guess. But the third one is probably going to be a surprise. And one of the things to buy out of the three things that will cause you to be happier according to science is buying experiences. When people purchase experiences, science has proven that buying experiences will make somebody more happier than if they buy physical items just for themselves. And I can tell you from personal experience, for over the last probably 4 years, my wife and I, we have committed to going to the Final Four. We like basketball, so we're into basketball. And so we go to the Final Four every single year. And we started that 4 years ago, specifically when our daughter went off to college, and we're like, hey, what are we going to do for us? Like, how are we going to focus on us? And that has been incredible. And I can tell you this, as much as I like cars and nice things and things like that, spending that time with my wife and having those experiences and just the atmosphere and just experiencing all of that with her, that is so much more valuable than any one purchase I could have ever made for myself. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying that you can't have those other things too. Those things, they have their place, but in terms of the thing that you could spend your money on to be the happiest, it's experiences. Because when you think about cars, they break down. When you think about clothes, they wear out. When you think about whatever, like there's some kind of way those things could be diminished. But when you think about memories can last forever. And if we're honest, sometimes in this thing that we call life, we have challenges, we have different struggles, we have different doubts. And sometimes the thing that gets us over, around, and through those different doubts and challenges and things that come up in our lives are different memories. Things that we pull from in the past. And so when you can invest in positive memories with people that you truly love and you like to be around and you desire to have even more positive memories with, thinking about this, investing in experiences is one of the best ways that you can spend money and not have a regret for it. Now, number 2 on this list is pro-social spending. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is like giving money to a charity, or like taking friends out to eat, or financing like a family activity or a family get together or some kind of, family event. And I can tell you for myself, about 4 years ago at the date of this video, me and a few of my family members, we actually pitched in and we created an annual event to celebrate just different people in our family. And the first event, we had like food, different activities, we had different awards, and we contacted a lot of people and just asked them, hey, is there anybody that you want to recognize? Is there anybody who's done something that maybe people don't know about that it would be really good to give them an award for? And so we got like these physical awards, we got trophies, and then we had an entire ceremony where people were giving other people like awards and trophies for something specifically that they done or something specific that they meant to their lives. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. It's made our family like just closer. And now what it does is like a lot of the younger people in our family, they're doing more positive things in order to be recognized. Now, hear me out. They're not doing it just to be recognized. And one of the primary reasons why they're doing it is because they see all of the benefits from this other person's life that they can model themselves after. They see that this person, number one, is being recognized. They see that this person is happier. They have more money. They have more joy. And they want to experience what they feel, and they see somebody else being celebrated is experiencing. And so it's just causing an overall positive ripple effect in our family because people see the benefits of not just doing positive, but looking for different ways to help even other people to be positive as well. And so you think about this, when you have a group of people that's constantly looking for ways to help another person and to become the better person themselves and to help somebody else become a better person, it just overall helps the group that much more. And think about this. When you sit back and you watch this dynamic play out and you had a small part to play in it by way of having a small investment, man, that is a great feeling. And it's like when you think about the ancient book of wisdom that said it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And you're giving something that's so small when you really think about the grand scheme of things that's causing this ripple effect in your family. That's something that's really priceless. And so when you can invest in things that can help other people or improve or enhance somebody else's life or to make somebody else's life better, and you see that these people are very appreciative and grateful on the other end, you get so much more joy and so much more happiness from that purchase than you do anything that you can ever buy yourself. Because the things that we buy for ourselves, it might make us feel a certain warm and fuzzy feeling temporarily, but over time, it fades. It's something where you have this excitement, and sometimes the anticipation is more than the actual having of it, because it's like in anticipation, we create things that however we want it to be, but when we get it, there's no longer the creating of an imagination because we already have it. And so just the fact that you can invest in somebody else and make their lives better is so much better than any physical purchase that you can actually make and buy for yourself. Now, number 3 on this list, and probably the one that's somewhat of a surprise to you, is buying time. Now, you might think, how can you buy time? A way that you can buy time is having your groceries delivered, having your grass cut, or just paying somebody to do something that you don't want to do, or maybe you're investing in things that can make you money to help you retire earlier. And so when you think about people that invest in things where they can retire earlier, now they have so much more of their life on the back end that they can enjoy, and they can be happier because they're doing something that they want to do, not because they have to do it. And I'll give you a prime example of this is people that invest their lives in the military. You think about this, people go into the military and they're able to retire at 38, 39, 40 years old, when so many other people on the other end, they can't retire until they're in their mid 60s. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only way, but I'm saying a lot of people do that as a means to have the back end of their life to do whatever they want to do because they have money coming in that gives them the freedom and the flexibility and the liberty to not have to work for money, because that's an investment. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way. You have real estate, you have business, you have so many other things that people can invest in that can give them the money to retire early in their lives. And it really takes being intentional. And when you think about even something that you can experience immediately, such as having your groceries delivered, like you might be somebody kind of like us, me and my wife, we don't really like to go to the store, and so the little bit that we spend to pay to have our groceries delivered, that is money well spent. For me, like a lot of my friends, they like cutting grass. Like that's their way of, experiencing peace. That's their happy place. That's not happy for me. That's work. And so for me to pay somebody else to cut my grass, like that makes me a lot happier, because the time that I would be spending cutting my grass is time that I get to spend with my wife. And I'm much more happier spending time with my wife than I am cutting grass. And the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is that, yes, we do experience a certain level of joy when we make certain investments, but sometimes the removal, like paying for the removal of negative experiences, will bring you just as much happiness than it is if you buy something for yourself. Because when you remove something negative and you can pay for that, it's like, how often would you want to remove negative things in your life? And I'm not talking about things that challenge you to grow and help you to become better. I'm saying things that are just straight up negative to you. Like they don't bring any additional quality of life to you, period. If you can pay to have those things removed, overall, that's going to help you to have a better quality of life. And people that invest in these three things, scientifically, it's been proven that they have an overall better satisfactory and quality of life than those who don't. And the thing that I do want to say is this, when it really comes to happiness and joy and things of that, like we all want that, no matter who we are. Now, I typically don't use universals, but happiness is something that we all want to experience and we want to enjoy. And it's like when you think about like happiness, a lot of times we overcomplicate what it takes to actually get it. And when you think about all of these like the three things that I mentioned, it's really, really simple. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's really, really simple. And your happiness is very deserving of it. Now, I do want to deliver on my promise, because I told you at the end of this video, I was going to tell you the title and the name of the book. Now, the name of the book is called Die with Zero. I would tell you this book was a really, really great book. However, I would say that I did not agree with 100% of everything that was said in this book. It was probably about 90% of the book, but I will tell you that it really caused me to think of some things differently and change habits. And if you really want to go deeper into some of these things that we talked about in terms of like reading some of the articles that the book actually talks about, I encourage you to go pick it up, because it gives you a lot more detail than what I'm saying here, and it even expands it out further. But this is like a summation of just a few things that I took from it that was really important to me as it relates to things that you can buy that will make you happier according to science. And this book is something where it's going to challenge your thinking. You may disagree with some of it as well, but I think it's a really good exercise to do. But if you're pressed for time, I encourage you to implement these things. And if you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to hit that like button and consider subscribing. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.